Local War Room. We'll talk about that and lots more. Joining me now, Karen Finney, former DNC Communications Director, also an MSNBC political analyst, and Tim Miller, Deputy Communications Director for the Republican National Committee. Good to see both of you.
Hey, Craig.
Karen, does the president open himself up at all to any kind of criticism by playing golf with Tiger Woods?
I mean, he might. I mean, look, I don't love what Tiger Woods did in his personal life, but I think I, along with a lot of people, respect him as a golfer. And I think, you know, when you're the president and you get to golf with somebody who's one of the best in the world, you know, that's all right.
And I do love the fact that yesterday, before he knew he was going to be playing with Tiger, he decided to get some lessons from Tiger's coach as well.
Okay. That's right. Brushing up a little bit.
Yeah, Tim, let me get your take on it.
This is the thing, Craig. No, look, the president has right to personal time and to play golf. That's absolutely fine. But the problem that he's running into is the campaign never seemed to end for him. And he's been spending more time outside of Washington than inside Washington. And we've got this sequester coming up in a few days. We have serious budget issues going on in Congress. And the president just does not seem willing to take the time to work with Congress, make the phone calls, and work with Congress to get this solved. And instead, he's golfing with Tiger.
Tim, I don't have the numbers in front of me, but I would imagine that you compare the vacation days that this president has taken versus the number of vacation days that his predecessor took. There's probably a wide chasm between the two.
Look, like I said, he has the right to a vacation.
Hold on, guys. By the way, wherever the president goes, having worked for a president, the White House apparatus goes with him, so he can get work done anywhere.
Hey,
unlike
absolutely.
Congress that decided, thanks to Mr. Boehner, you know what? We don't need to get our work done. Let's just go home. We'll take some time off. We'll come back and we'll deal with it later.
Tim, Karen took me to my next point, and a lot of folks have been asking this question, and you brought it up. I mean, with so much on the congressional plate right now, the looming sequester, the Hagel nomination in the Senate, why go on a vacation? Why go on a break?
Look, I think, Craig, that's the point that I was trying to make here. There are a lot of issues going on in Congress, and I think if you talk to Democratic legislators, in fact, there was an article in Politico about this, they would say that they wish the president was spending more time calling them, working the Hill, working with Congress, and trying to show some leadership and come up with a solution.
But I think the point that Craig was making is that, Speaker Boehner decided that it was okay to go ahead and adjourn and take a break when, Leader Pelosi and a number of other Democrats said, hey, we're willing to stay here and do the work and get it done. We don't think we should go on a break or a vacation. And Speaker Boehner just decided, you know what, what's another few days?
Yeah, Karen, the House Republicans have already passed 2 sequester replacements, so we haven't seen a budget from the Senate. We haven't seen a solution to this from the President or from Harry Reid. The Republicans have put our plan on the table. We've passed it through the House of Representatives, and now it's incumbent upon the President to show some leadership on this issue.
Let's turn to Hagel right now. Let's turn to Hagel. The nomination, of course, something that's going to be taken up once the break is over. This is Bob Woodward on Fox News Sunday talking about Democratic senators who've been calling the White House asking if Hagel was going to withdraw. This is what he says was the White House response. Take a listen.
The answer is an emphatic no, but remember John Ehrlichman, Nixon's aide, used to talk about twisting slowly in the wind.
Karen, why wouldn't the White House jump to Hagel's defense?
Well, I think they have. And look, you had John McCain also out this weekend. He said it last week, and he said it again this weekend. I mean, I think the expectation is that Senator Hagel is going to, that vote is going to happen, and he will be our next Secretary of Defense. What I think is deplorable, and I mean, John McCain was also very honest this week, and I think that's part of what prompted some of Democrats' questions, is that, Republicans have made it clear that this is a grudge match. I wrote about this week for The Hill. I mean, Lindsey Graham is saying basically he's not going to vote on this or he won't move on this until he finds out who changed some talking points from several months ago, which was something that Hagel had nothing to do with, frankly. And so then John McCain says, well, we didn't like the fact that Hagel was, said some things against Bush and, stood up against the Republican Party. A little bit ironic from the guy who used to be known as a maverick in his party. But I mean, look, I think the White House recognizes that this is a petty grudge match. I think the Republicans look increasingly silly on this. And I think the White House is saying, look, we'll wait till we come back. We'll have another vote. And I think everybody's pretty confident that the vote will happen and that he'll be the next secretary.
Karen, I think, though, the thing is, if anything was deplorable in this situation, it's how unprepared Chuck Hagel was for this nomination. I mean, your friend Robert Gibbs, who is the president's spokesperson, who doesn't really make a habit of criticizing the White House, said that it was unacceptable how unprepared Chuck Hagel was. And you're right, he may very well sort of Mr. Magoo his way to getting this nomination, but the question is, why is the president wasting his political capital on a guy like this?
I don't disagree that I think in the public hearings I would have liked to see a much stronger performance. I thought John Brennan, for example, was very strong and on point. But remember that Hagel also has done numerous private meetings with senators, responded both in writing and directly to very specific questions to these members. So again, I think everything they've asked for, he's provided, as Carl Levin said, above and beyond. So I mean, yes, maybe the public hearing wasn't what we would have liked to see, but again, he's been very responsive to their questions. And I think that's part of what Senator McCain was saying, was that because of that, yes, he will likely be confirmed.
All right, you know what, guys, we're going to have to leave it there. Karen Finney, is always good to see you. Tim, good to see you as well. Tim, you just use Magoo as a verb.
What does that mean? If it works in any case, it's for Chuck Hagel.
What does that mean again? Just I'm not familiar with it. To Magoo yourself?
You remember Mr. Magoo?
I do.
He kept making mistake after mistake, but then would accidentally get through.
Gotcha. All right. Tim introducing another term to the political lexicon in this country. Good to see both of you. Thank you.
Take care.
Still to come, the president promised